Hello, welcome to the Late Night British Show. I'm your host, Johnny Baghead. Welcome. It is late evening for me, so today we're going to be smooth and chill today. Yeah, it's me. I'm still here. Sorry, because I'm British, right? I can't keep that voice up very long. But yeah, it's a late start for me. I know that's not normal for me. Crank that a little bit, but that's fine. I'm an international man, worldwide. Nope. I'm in bed. I'm already in the bed, you know this. I have to be in bed, we're back anyway. So yeah, today we're going to finish up our second playthrough here while we're trying to get as many kills as possible. And hopefully get the possessed ending. I probably need to take a bit more hits, I don't know. But yeah, so we're back in the hospital. We've got our infinite submachine gun, which is, you know, it's wrecking the place. It's very good. Got my cat with me today. She's chilling out, aren't you? Hey, you stay there for now. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so yeah, I literally just came in here. And that's about it. Okay, we can't fit down that way. Pretty sure it's just the... Nothing really interesting here. Nah, okay. I probably should have been keeping some sort of counter to know how many kills I was getting. Because I don't think there is actually a any way to see how many kills you have on a save file. So yeah. Got an open door though. Funny enough, there is some benefit to yeah. There's some benefit to checking all the doors because I don't remember. Oh yeah. I'll mention that in a sec. But yeah, because I don't remember everything, plus some of them are like the trap rooms filled with enemies, so it's actually a good idea for us to go into those. Plus, I think if you go in certain rooms, it triggers spawns of enemies. And I don't know if that's optional or main rooms that do that, or if it's just random. But either way, it's good for us to do. Yeah, broken lock. Broken lock. Okay, just gotta check the visiting room. Yeah, I thought we could go in here. Yep. And yep, just like last time. Okay, so where are we going? I think this door over here is locked, but we'll see. Nope, it's open. Good, good. And yep, still just... Still so nuts. Broke. Yeah, okay. Don't remember most of these doors being openable, but we'll see. Sorry I don't remember, like, the main part, but again, for the purposes of getting as many kills as we can, it does service us to check these rooms out. Ah, so this is fully just a tricky room, nothing in there. Okay. That memo, we didn't read it, but the memo in that doctor's office reminded me that I was talking to someone, and I might mention this in the last stream, I don't remember, who was trying to say, like, oh yeah, none of the people are real. They're saying, like, oh yeah, the happy birthday caller, and this and that, like, you know, weren't real. And I had to point out, it's like, hey, Stanley, you find a memo that says he's a patient in hospital. He is real. And they're saying, oh, if he's real, then how comes he knows who Heather is and he's stalking you around? I'm like, hey, that's... You're not supposed to know. It's scary. I think some people forget that sometimes. It's like, yeah... There's times where you don't need to know things because knowing them would make them not scary, and it's supposed to be scary. Okay. I'm hoping... Okay. Maybe I should have looked this up before going. I don't think you have to check all of Stanley's memos. To progress, because I don't think there's anything actually key in them. You know, like a password or anything like that. Let's see. Oh, well. Let's check here first. Nope. Okay, good. Actually, I want to check something quick. No, okay. Still weird how those costumes work. Yep, these Stan Lee. Alright. So what's in here? Nail polish remover. Good, good, good. So actually, we might as well, well, let's check this floor out first. Okay, that's locked. Press, move to right, press, move up one, press, move two down, press, the door shall open. Oh yeah, I can see how they made this easier on this mode. Okay, so press, move to right. Press, move up one, down two. There we go. Yeah, very different and easy on It is interesting seeing what the easy memos are like. And it's not an exaggeration to say, I don't think. Maybe a slight exaggeration. But the... yeah, and... Here we go. The start time is my key. Well, that's the same, obviously. But when it came to puzzles, the later Western Silent Hills, for some reason, did a really bad job with them. Just in terms of, you know, they got rid of puzzle difficulty because, you know, it and mainly part that's maybe because of how much development got expensive, so resources couldn't be put towards making multiple puzzles. But at the same time, like, I think there was some parts of the development where they were spending money in the wrong places. That is a good question. I'd have to think on it. Maybe the idea is that the I'm trying to think if it's something where they're saying, oh, look at that. They even write it on the fucking clock in case you can't tell what the puzzle is. It's like, yo, this is what we mean. 1200. Oh my god, that's really funny. There we go, got the instant camera. I think if we're trying to get damage, I think the time to do that's probably going to be the, well, there's a damage, there's a hit, that's good. Yeah, it's definitely going to be the bosses. I could see, the final boss being the one. It's probably the time to do that. I'm doing this because I think there's a mechanic in this game where enemies can get back up, so I'm making sure they count as dead. Oh, she needs to recover after that. Funny enough, I think shooting the gun uses stamina. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like that. The only way to find out would be to beat the game on hard combat, because that unlocks the health and stamina bar. Yep, that's locked, and yeah, that elevator doesn't work. I mean, it's called that, you know? Like, very explicitly, it's called Possessed Ending, from what I've looked up. And I'm assuming when you beat the game, maybe it says. We'll have to see. Oh no! Someone shot me! Actually, it could be. It could be a lot of things. It could be... So yeah, so if I was thinking of it in terms of the cult, it could be that the unborn god, like, corrupted her in some way, and even though, like, it, you know, like, she coughs it out, and it gets, you know, born differently, you could argue maybe what's actually born isn't God, and it's, like, the spirit of God stays in her and takes her over. Or again, maybe it could be argued it is a bloodlust Fin, because you mentioned something. I want to check it and see if it's still here. That there's like there's extra text, flavor text when you examine certain things in the inventory on the second playthrough. Let's see. I know it's terrible, but I just love walking around with this. Of course, this is the first time I've used it against anything living. So, I could be wrong, but I think on a fresh save file you wouldn't see... Yeah, you might not see that text. And let's see, what else we got? Oh yeah, because we can... It's meant for dogs, so I think I'll pass. Okay, nothing different there. Now I want to check everything. Less noise means it's harder for enemies to find me. It seems like yeah, it's a little weaker. But monsters will notice me more easily when it's on. It won't play normal stations. Is it broken? Let's endure the side. Yep, that's the same. That just reads that. Oh, no. Yeah, that must be tied to the extra game plus, which again I think that's a hint about the possessed ending. And the other thing I saw that I remember was when you go to there's a shop with the cell. You know, there's the poster you examine, and that's changed. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think it has the extra writing on it to change the word to like dead. There we go, got the stairwell key. So now we go to the basement, because I have the camera. Okay, yeah, so we are going to get through this a bit quicker. I'm remembering certain things. Let me check. I wonder if that stays in my memos. No. That's a shame, because I would have just looked at it again. Okay. There is something extra I want to check on the roof that I thought was a thing you could examine, but I missed it. So we need to check that this time. But it's hard to say with the possessed end, but consider that it is a bonus that you would only get this playthrough. It's probably more just meant for fun. Well, not fun. That's probably not the right word for what happens in that ending. 2946. Cool. And I'm guessing it's going to be the third floor that works on. The other submachine guns there, but yeah, don't need it. So I'm just gonna ignore it. Oh, did I not? I didn't check this door. No. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the roof because first I think there's monsters up there. Yes. Or maybe yeah. But also, apparently, don't quote me on this because the website I read this on also wrote it where they said we're not sure if this is true. Apparently, those extras show up on a extra new game like New Game Plus. But apparently, on your first playthrough, you wouldn't see it. Okay. So apparently, where is it? Okay. Aha. Okay. It's just a normal screen. It doesn't look like it's about to break and fall. Okay, so very small, but there you go. That's all you get. Let me check it one more time. Yeah, okay. So we didn't miss anything major when I... The toilet one is the main, like, wink nudge, oh, you know what this is about. And the Maria poster. The letters, when you examine the mailbox, that's pretty on the nose, but that one is very vague. Obviously, you would only know to check there if you played 2 and you were curious. But there we go. We did our due diligence. Alright, is this the one with the nurse in it? Yep. Woo! There we go. I still think that's interesting. There's just a zombie. No, sort of not a zombie, but you know, you have to unlock that door. Is there nothing in here? Guess not. Punishment for brutality towards patients. 12 hours confinement. Dismissal policy no longer in effect. The trick is not to leave any marks. Oh, and one other thing. This looks like it was written by a different person. The chief is a pervert. Christie would have been better off if she had been fired. Oh, I missed that. There's a lot going on there. Wow. Nice place, this place. Alright, there's a save point. And some stuff. We don't have the stun gun, but considering we're going for kills and I've got this gun, doesn't seem any point. So there you go. I think that's all the extra things to examine, yeah. And we got the pipes. The only thing we haven't seen is the beam saber, but apparently once you replay the game once, even if you don't do the requirements for it, you get it anyway. Okay, well we know that works. And that one's broken. Okay. And there's stuff here, so let's keep going. Okay. Fortunately, I don't have the greatest memory, so let's double check. I think it was 2946. Okay, 2946. And I think that's one of the ones you can't look up because it's different every time, regardless of difficulty. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. Because Silent Hill 2 does. I can't remember if I finished my thought on it, but I was saying regarding the puzzles, and this is not just a Silent Hill thing, but when, like, a lot of survival horror games, or just horror games in general, did get really basic with their puzzles for some reason, where the difficulty of them dropped a lot. Yeah, do. It's just some lore. And it was especially true in the Silent Hill games, where it was closer to what Resident Evil 4 did, where they're not really taxing at all. They're, you know, they're not riddles. They're just kind of little toys you play with, and unlock something that way. This game's so weird when you go through it killing everything, because there's multiple points where you're just going around and there's nothing around. It's also kind of funny we're not seeing anything in the rooms, because the Stanley, we never checked the Stanley note. There we go. Oh, there was another one there. There we go. Again, this is because to get this... Oh yeah, here we go. So, I believe you have to do that for progress, because that makes a door appear. Yeah, broken lock and broken lock. Okay. Alright, so just a few... No, that wasn't a happy birthday caller. That was Leonard. The only Western Silent Hill game that I think brought back the puzzle difficulties was I guess it was Downpour. I don't think it was in Origins. Considering how quickly that game was made, I'd be shocked if it was in there. So again, most of that game was made in 8 months. Okay, so I think it's the 2nd floor. We have to go to. If not, it's the 1st floor. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the specific style that each one had. Let's see. So Origins was at least like closer to the original style from what I remember. But Homecoming, especially, like Homecoming, it reused one of the puzzles it kept reusing was one where there would be a wire thing where there'd be wires going from the top to the bottom, and it'd be a row, and you just have to put them in the right order, and there'd be something nearby that would just say, "Oh, this is the order." And it was a lot of stuff like that. Like, the only puzzle that was really hard in the game was the final puzzle, where they actually ramped up the difficulty for some reason. Or I think there was another puzzle where it was a bunch of like kind of famous riddles of like what starts out on 4 legs, then 2, then 3? Or what's the thing that a rich man wants and a poor man has, and that kind of stuff. I guess if you had never heard them before, but they're so common riddles, and you know, not original. So it doesn't come off as interesting as the stuff that's in these original games, where you know they are original. And play off the themes of the game more. And as I mentioned when we were talking about Shattered Memories last time, that game doesn't have puzzles for the most part. They're just, hey, interact with this thing. And the Wii, hey, just pull a lever. That's the puzzle. Open a window. And for a lot of them, they're optional as well. They don't do anything. You pick up a trinket, and then in the ending, you see all the trinkets. That which I don't think they've ever said, but that comes off like there was a bigger plan, and then they just something got cut. Alright, well let's just. Oh yeah. Yeah, you forgot you have to examine that. And Downpour. Trying to remember the style in that one. There were some that were definitely trying to be like original ones. I think the most infamous one, because apparently it's the one everyone got stuck on because it's written really badly, was there's a puzzle where you have to press some coloured buttons in order, and you find a poem that mentions colours, and on easy it just says the colours, and then on normal it just uses synonyms for colours, or like specific shades of those colours, though there is issue even on normal where they'll sometimes refer to a colour but you don't actually use it. What are you looking at, Heather? I do think it's weird she'll look at doors in this one. Like, I do think it's probably there for the idea of, oh, you don't need to examine all the doors, because you'll only look at doors that you can open. But I find most of the time I don't notice it, and it just confuses me because I think she's looking at something to pick up. Hand outside the window. Yo, hand. There we go. Okay, so where else have we got to check? You know, I don't know if I saw that room before. I could be wrong. I just don't remember it. Oh, I don't know if it's a different one, so I should probably ask. How does the deinterlacing look? Oh. Man, those things are fast. Let me have a quick look, because now that I've got everything set up properly, I can actually look at my stream preview from time to time. It doesn't freak things out. Yeah, that looks okay. It's not cutting the frame rate or anything like that one time. So, yeah. And I think this looks slightly better than Blend. I mean, I can put the bitrate up. I'm at 2000. Do you want me to try higher bitrate? Oh yeah. Didn't need to come in here. I think I have to... Maybe, here, while this is going on. I forgot to mention when we did the first stream, even though I've seen... Like, I've there we go. I'm just going to do that, and we'll see what happens. Even though I'd seen this scene a lot in like YouTube videos and I've played this before, this still really freaked me out when we did the first playthrough. It still like it gave me a pit in my stomach at a certain point. I think here, when it comes to here, because this part gets really weird, and this tech, oh man, this anime texture work looks so good. Also, I think I'm taking damage. I don't know if you do originally, but I'm definitely taking damage now. Let me check. Yeah, you take damage in this room. And I don't know if you originally did. I might have got out there too quick, but... Well, that's good. That might help out for, You know what? I'm curious. Aha, no, it's just fine. Someone will have to confirm for me or not if it does on the first playthrough. I think it's just probably something you don't notice, because as soon as you can get out of that room, you would get out, just because it it freaks you out. So yeah, those red areas that we were seeing in the underground area, on hard mode they basically do the same thing, where the area will turn red until you can kill everything. Okay, we've been in a circle. So I think we need to check the elevator here. Yep, here we go. But it is like when you really get in the mood of this game, that bit is still really unsettling. Okay, so we're on floor 3, so let's go to 2. It's a shame the guides saying for getting the possessed ending say, you know, 2,000 points of damage, just because there's no way when you're in game to quantify how much damage that is. Though it does remind me of Downpour, where the only way to check your exact health was to go into the pause menu and then go to the statistics screen, and there it would show your health percentage, like the exact number. I don't know if it did the thing in this game, and I think 2, well 2 definitely does it. I don't remember if 1 does, where the controller you'll start feeling a heartbeat. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to skip the happy birthday caller. We're just going to hang up the phone on him immediately. Well, duh, the phone's not connected. But what about that phone call? There's no calls going in or coming out of this phone. Okay, so I will mention this. Because this is actually a good time to talk about it. On PC, so 2 and 3 got PC ports. The port of Silent Hill 2 on PC was really bad, and according to an ex-developer, I've heard this stuff from Punchy when he did a Silent Hill 2 speed run for Games Done Quick, that the PC version was rushed, like made very quickly, maybe in a few months or something, and very tiny budget, like might have been like a tiny team. Nope, you can't shoot it. It's a bit weird. I thought you'd be able to kill that. Okay, we've got the plastic bag. Oh, that was a health drink. Cool. I mean, I'm doing fine. But, you know, we'll keep stocking them. So, there's been fan patches for both versions for a while, but recently, within the last few years, modders started to do a more thorough fix for all of Silent Hill 2, because that one was really bad and had a lot of really broken effects. Like the fog wasn't right, the widescreen mode didn't work properly, and issues with the FMVs, and just tons of random little issues. And now it's in a really good place, but they've also the version of 3, I heard the version of 3 still has some issues that weren't in the PlayStation 2 version, but you don't need to fix as much. But at one point, people who were working on this enhanced edition started to do fixes that were outside of making it parable. I think I'm saying that right. But on to be as close to the PlayStation 2 version, and started to change some things, and some of that was trying to up-res textures and stuff, and you can feel how you want about that, because that's a bit more of a complicated debate about how well AI upscaling works and things like that, and I think it depends, because I've seen some AI upscaling that works great. Specifically, I think of okay, that's good. I'll talk about that in a bit then, about the separated stuff. But yeah, so like sometimes I think AI upscaling can work really well. I think the AI upscaling that people did to the pre-rendered backgrounds in the PlayStation 1 Resident Evil game, no, well, the the PlayStation 1 Resident Evil games, those seem to be pretty decent the way they're done, and the Final Fantasy games as well. And I think they look really good there, and it works with that art style. But I've also seen people attempt to do it with something that's a bit closer to photorealistic, and specifically attempts to AI upscale pre-rendered cutscenes in Silent Hill 2 and 3. And maybe it's something where you have to mess with the settings to get it right, but it just didn't look right. The problem is with AI upscaling is it tends to make things look painted and computerized, and that works okay for like PlayStation 1 era pre-rendered stuff when it was done on very 90s computers. But once you get to this era, Dr. Midriff, there we go, let's save here. It tends to smooth things out in a weird way. Like, I specifically saw one of Silent Hill 3 where it started to look like parts of Heather's arm would merge with the background. And I think, you know, all the filters that are already on cutscenes and things like that probably doesn't help pre-rendered stuff either. But at one point, the Enhanced Edition started to change in-game assets as well. And it seems like it doesn't matter, but one of the things they changed first was there was some fridge in the apartment area, I believe, that was on. Like, I think it might be the fridge that you find that body crammed in. And I think the light inside the fridge is supposed to be on. But it's not actually plugged in. And that's one thing they change, where they're like, oh, well, it's on, but it's not, it doesn't have a power cord, so we put a power cord on it. And it's like, well, okay. With art, it's always, unless you have a creator, there's always a question of, well, what did they do? What was their intent and thing like that? But I'm very much of the belief that art is the product of itself. Like, obviously the author's intent matters, but also the way the author left it matters. So if something was left the way it was, even by mistake, that's still what the end result of the piece should be. So even if, so maybe that fridge was left unplugged intentional to add to the whole mystique of, hey, why do these things all work? There we go. Check that. Or even if it was a mistake, it's still part of how the media is perceived, because it's always been in there. So even if it was a mistake, you shouldn't change it, you know? I'm glad to hear that now they are making a separate pack, or from what I've heard, they also have a thing to use that lets you customize what enhancements you want to keep and what you don't. Because there was a period of time that I saw people were objecting to the changes, and they were saying, hey, this is overreaching, you shouldn't be doing this, you should give people the option to disable it, and they weren't very open to those ideas. In fact, they were a lot like, well, if you have to learn how to mess with our files and do that to remove it if you don't want it, because this is what we want to do, which I don't think is the right oh my god, my throat just went there for a sec. Oh. Yep, backheads have throats too. Sorry, I've been talking too much apparently. There we go. But yeah, they didn't seem to be very receptive to hearing criticisms about, oh, look at that, this is just open. It's so weird playing this game without any of the puzzles. Like, so many of the puzzles are just gone. It's really funny. Okay, that's cool. I hope that also includes, because apparently they were also doing some remodeling as well, which I think there's a time and a place to do that, and the example is yeah, there were so many of these puzzles are skipped. Definitely, if you're doing like speed runs, that's the mode to do it on, because that skips having to check where solutions are or finding objects. Like, that's an interesting thing in those offices. One of them is just you have to go find a screwdriver to open a desk, and you don't have to go and find it on easy puzzle, which I think is just funny. Okay, I can't remember where this locked door is. There's a locked door somewhere. Huh. Yeah. But they also, at one point, they might have changed it, but at one point someone showed me they were trying to make... Oh, I missed the examination room there. What am I missing? There must be a door I've got to open. Huh. Okay, so I'm just gonna... Let me just figure out where this locked door is. I checked the reception. Yeah, that door. Oh, there is. Hang on. There we go. Whoops, didn't check that door. But at one point they were trying to do reproductions of the. Here, I'll show you of these kind of items. They were trying to make higher resolution versions, but because they don't have source files, and I think they were too low resolution to AI upscale. They were trying to recreate them themselves, but they weren't doing them by drawing or like computer technology. They were finding random art assets that looked similar and trying to remake them. And the times where they did change stuff, it looked where it looked, you know, you could tell an artist had come in to try and change it. It just looked really rough. Maybe they were like proof of concept of just, oh, this is what we want to do, but we aren't keeping these. But that was definitely, it's like, hey, if you want to improve those menu items, which is a good idea, you'd have to check because I don't, you know, I'm a Mac gamer TM, or what that doesn't mean or doesn't mean. Get that butt shot in there. Okay, I think they're all down. Okay, yeah, firing the gun definitely takes stamina. Yeah, so at one point they were also working, maybe they changed, I don't know. 14 plus 7 plus 4 is 28, but it's not my birthday. Maybe that's where you got the 14th from. I think I missed that. But, you know, I think you could do that well. I think if an artist came in and instead of trying to do it with pre-made assets, they actually tried to recreate these. Yeah, Lesser was 14, sorry. But I missed that moment the first time. Like, if someone was redrawing these, yeah, at the end of Silent Hill 1, she would be 14, basically. Which you mentioned, the character model, the pre-rendered one, she looks way older than 14. Okay. I don't think any of these doors open, actually. I think it's just... It should be mentioned, I'll mention that quickly. I think most of the pre-rendered cutscenes for that game were done in like a day. The I think his name's Sato. He it's not something I'm like applauding or anything. Okay, I've missed something. What have I missed? You know what? I think I have to check examination. Yeah, okay, I've got to go back up to the 3rd floor. Whoops. I never got the blood. But yeah, the guy who did all the pre-rendered cutscenes, because Team Silent were basically like rejects of Konami that they didn't know what to do with, and that game, I don't think Konami had much faith in before it actually got made. So most of the FMV stuff was done by one guy on his own, and I think he just locked himself in his office and made them in like a month or two. Like, obviously something you shouldn't do to yourself, but it was something you could kind of get away with, and in some cases was a applauded, especially in Japan back then. You know, you're really passionate. You overwork yourself to get shit done. And admittedly, I don't think the story is that he was forced to do that or anything. That was something he did on his own account. So obviously the issue there is that, you know, Konami should have given them the freaking time and not have made it so that was the only way to get them done. So I think little mistakes of like, oh yeah, Alessa not looking the right age. There's also a thing of there's a zoom out of a house in the opening cutscene of Silent Hill 1 that I think a lot of people assume is the Gillespie house, but that actually contradicts a memo you can find. And I think it's... I forget if that's the... No, it's not the PAL and Japanese exclusive memo. But there's a memo you find that says that the house fire burnt down or like almost the entire block of houses. So obviously the Gillespie house had to have been a terrestrial or semi-detached house. But you know, they're still really good looking for the time. And especially considering one guy made them, I don't think they're motion captured either. Unlike all the FMVs in 2 and 3. But speaking of like HD restores and polygon changes that went well, the Resident Evil 4 HD project, which I can't recommend enough, that is probably the best I've seen in an attempt, because they haven't really taken any liberties with anything. What they've done is a guy was in Spain, and I think maybe someone else went to Spain as well, but they found the actual original real life assets that the developers had taken pictures of as their original sources, and then, you know, took newer, higher quality versions. And also, in some cases, if there was a texture or object, like a door for example, that had a very ornate design that in a higher resolution looked too flat, they changed the polygon of the door to match what that actual real world asset was. And you know, not everyone can do that, and that was like extreme circumstances that allowed that to come together, obviously. But that's still the perfect, you know, way to try and re-enhance these graphics when they're of a point where it doesn't make sense to AI upscale them because they wouldn't look right. And again, that's a very extreme example, and I still think there's these rumors and apparently leaks about a Resident Evil 4 remake. I still don't know. I still think remaking it's a bad idea. I don't think you can remake that game in a way that would meet the expectations of that original game or fundamentally change it, so it would just end up being a different game, you know? I think Capcom, considering that they'll just fucking re-release Resident Evil 4 as many times as possible, that they should just pay some sort of fee to that dev team and work on integrating those files as like officially integrated into like the PC version as like, oh hey, you can download this high resolution pack, and then have it in the like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series versions, you know? Okay, I don't know if there's a quick way to do this fight. It doesn't look like it. Well, I'm not going to use the bulletproof vest this time. I'm not sure how. Maybe because I'm using this gun I can't do it, but you can kick him while he's down. I think if I shoot him once, he'd fall over. There we go. Well, I'll heal, but this is good because I need to take damage for this ending. Okay, yeah, I think I got a kick off there. Maybe it's only in the HD version, but I've seen footage. There we go. I saw footage of someone who stun locked this boss by kicking him. That must be HD only, because I don't think you can here. Nah, that must be just the HD collection. Don't quote me on that though. I bet someone else could confirm that no, there is a way to stun lock kick him as well in this version. Where are you? There you are, Leonard. I see you. It's a bit annoying. It doesn't look like I can hit him when he's swimming around. I could be wrong about that, but it doesn't look like I'm hitting him when he's in the water. There we go. Goodbye. Right, how long did that take? Oh, about 45-ish minutes, probably 40 minutes. Got talisman. So there you go. Yeah, you could do the whole section and never read the Stanley memos and just not know about him. That's kind of funny. You could go through the whole game and just be like, who's Stanley? If you just forgot to examine the first book, you just wouldn't see. Okay.
Why did you send her to my father?
Oh, that was weird. See that? It paused. It said. It's like, no, mate, I'm skipping a cutscene. Very odd. That's fine, though. Just, oh, yeah. I don't think that's this game. I think that's my disc is a little scuffed up. So, when you, so when I'm in this area, it seems to have a bit of trouble loading. Okay, so I think I have to... I think I have to go back to the hotel, the motel here. Yeah, take that. Man, the fog is really crazy here. Trying to figure out where that other enemy was and just straight up couldn't. Okay. So we're close. Here's the gas station. Let's have a quick look around. Cool custom. Can't check that door. That's a shame. Yep, there we go. I could be wrong, but I imagine if you try and go to the... Again, that's a very Silent Hill thing. Like, the Silent Hill games are all very scripted in terms of, oh, you have to go to these objectives in these orders. Sometimes they'll lock you in a more literal way where they will make it so like, oh yeah, no, this path just doesn't Just doesn't open. No, that's where the dog thing was in 2. But they'll also just, oh hey, you try and go to this area, and the game will just say, no, you don't go here yet. Okay. I never remember which one is our room, so I think it's one of these. There we go. It's hard to say what Vincent hopes. He's a cheeky guy. Okay, so now we can go to the amusement park. Let me just check something. No. Okay. So yeah, so we're just going up that way now. I think it's a safe bet, knowing how these games are structured and coded, that if you try to go that way, there would just be a text box that's like, I don't need to go there. So let's just go. Oh dear. Oh my. There we go. I mentioned it the first time, but yeah, I think this game is overall better than 2, but the only issue I would have with it is just, yeah, there is so little to do in the actual town. Especially considering it is a place from Silent Hill 2, and it's specifically the smaller part of the map. It's not the east side there. Because something I've always wanted to see do, and the Western games slightly tried to do it, but they did it in a really not a great way, was to revisit old areas and go into, say, buildings that you weren't able to get to the first time. But I think they didn't really do that too often. I think Origins had a tiny bit of the Silent Hill 1 map in it, but it was mostly a new area, which confused things a bit, because one of the things I remember is they added a sanitarium to the maps, and now there's like multiple like a crazy amount of hospitals and psychiatric wards in Silent Hill. Alright, yeah, this area. Alright, let's see how the puzzles are different here. I mean, this is quite a straightforward area. I'm trying to remember what puzzles there were. And then Homecoming, you do go back to part of the Silent Hill 1 map, but then they completely changed most of it, where it doesn't look like the same map. Where a bunch of where there used to be town, there's now river, there's now part of lake, and just a lot of weird changes of just like, hey, why would all these buildings be here when this type of building was here originally, and stuff like that. And then Shared Memories, like I said, is its own story, and just straight up the town is different. It doesn't even look close to what Silent Hill's supposed to look like. It's not like a quiet Midwestern town. It's huge and really densely packed, and has like skyscrapers and like really tall apartments and things like that. Is there nothing? Ah, there we go. Knew there was a safe point in here. And then Downpour is a completely separate section of the town that has its own subway system that doesn't reach into the rest of town. It only works in that section of town, and it's also huge. I think it's like bigger than even the Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2 maps. It's way too big. Oh yeah, that one's locked, I remember now. And just, you know, like takes it to ridiculous lengths of like how big they make the town. And again, give it its own subway that you can traverse. Like, this is supposed to be I forget, someone mentioned what the difference where Downpour's version of the town, like they said, like, oh, it looks closer to these kinds of towns, which, you know, aren't the same towns that Silent Hill 1 and 2 were based on. I think people found out where Team Silent got their reference stuff from at some point. I'd have to look that up, but I think people looked into it and found, like, oh, these are the buildings they probably sourced from, because these look almost identical kind of thing. Well, there's another guy around here, but I can't see him. So he's probably over the pit somewhere. Oh no, here he is. You're going the wrong way, lad. Okay, yeah, he's good. Oh. Careful. Okay, let's go up this way. Oh yeah, I've missed something. Whoops. There's a key I need somewhere. I had a feeling I missed something there. Now I've got to remember where that is. I think it's right down here though. It's somewhere pretty obvious. Yeah, I must have gone past it. Oh, I feel bad now. There we go. Oh, where was it? Must have been in the first area. Unless you just don't need the key on this mode. But I highly doubt it. Okay, let me just double check. My memory sucks because I actually don't remember where you picked the key up. Is it in here? It is in here. Oh, that could have been really dumb if I had missed that. Okay, I'm just gonna safety save. If I do it enough times through, I do tend to get these games more memorized. I'll stream it one day. Now that I can, I'll talk about it in a bit. But when I played Resident Evil Remake on PlayStation 4, that version, I actually, because I hadn't, that was quite a few years ago now, because I hadn't played survival horror games in a very long time, so I actually started on easy. And I ended up being able to do the game on hard with Jill. I think I did that so I could get all the costumes. And by then, yeah, I got the main kind of route down pat. And a similar, not exactly, but a quite similar thing happened with Resident Evil 2 Remake when I played that. Because I wanted to do the slightly different version where you start off with Claire instead of Leon, because I think I forget who I started with, but I did do the full thing to do the two versions. And that does remind me of something I looked up and I found interesting. I remember a while back, I forget who, I think maybe like a video game reviewer or journalist or something like that, was trying to make the argument that video games were too long based on the completion percentage, like how many people would get the achievement or trophy for beating a game. And I did some, like, not super intensive search, but I like looked up the basic of like, okay, let me look at some really popular games on the PlayStation 4 and look at their play times and pick a decent selection of these are really long games and these are shorter games. And I found the results were actually quite weird. That the length of the game didn't actually seem to have much of a difference on how many people would finish a game. And typically, most people don't finish video games they start. I don't remember if I kept the notepad around. I'll have to look it up if I still have it, but I had the notes on it. And for most games, on average, the full and then when I say completion, I mean just see the end credits, pretty much usually. I don't mean I'll do everything there is to do in the game. I just mean like see the ending, see the credits, that kind of thing. And for most games, it's on average between like 25 to 35%. And when it goes to like, oh, who actually saw all the content the game has, that goes to like a fraction of the, that's a tiny percentage that actually go through the effort to really see everything. And case in point would be Resident Evil Remake 2, where the percentage of people who had actually gone through to get the true ending, so that's do the first character and then do the second character's shorter playthrough, and it was tiny compared, like I think it was under 20%. It was like 20% or less on PlayStation 4. Obviously that doesn't account for PC or Xbox One, so if you really wanted to do this, you would have to try and curate all the different versions. And then you also have to account there's a lot of people who never put their consoles online.
That's Danny.
And also some people who possibly like make multiple.
The mechanism is broken, you see. It wasn't supposed to stop the
Oh, we have to wait.
assure you, there's the exit. That was supposed to be the exit, but it seems that no one wants you to leave. Everyone really likes you.
Okay, gotta keep going.
They want you.
Just gonna concentrate for this bit because this is the one part
I have to agree.
where doing it's probably the only part where the tank controls do make it a bit harder, just because of they position the camera so you're running towards the camera. You have to see what's behind you, but that means there's no way to see what turns are coming up. But it's a very quick minor thing, and I imagine hard mode does make it a little different, but I hope it's not like Silent Hill 2 where that fucking Maria corridor where because they make Leon, sorry, I'm getting names mixed up. I'm really bad with names. You'll learn this if you spend enough time with me. I'm bad with names and getting them right and things like that. Okay. But yeah, that Maria corridor, because Pyramid Head is a lot faster in movement and attack animations, so you just straight up can't get her to run away from him. Oh, that was messed up. I don't think there's anything like that in here, and I can't imagine like they would make that corridor harder. But one day I will do a hard combat difficulty playthrough. You know what, I'm curious. Nope, yeah, they just lock you, so you can't go back. Makes sense. But yes, and then I looked at some longer games like The Last of Us Part 2. That was relatively high. That was at something like 40, between like 40 and 60%. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that was really high. That was about 50%. And that's a like 30-40 hour game, depending on you know, like how quickly you get through it. I think, but you know, like a first time playthrough, that's, you know, roughly what your time's gonna be. So it turned out like, and I don't think, for example, a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, I'd have to look it up, because I think I only did like a very quick look, and I didn't check, say, games that I didn't own, so I didn't look at everything. Okay, let's see if this is that different. Oh. Take a doll. I was curious if this was going to be one of the puzzles they skip, where it's just, oh, you just find it already solved for you. But no, okay. Fair enough, because that would be a bit too easy. So yeah, game length doesn't actually seem to have that much of a factor on how many people end up finishing it. And in some cases, it was really odd, where I looked at Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, where that game's one, if you're like playing it, you know, first time, you're going in, you don't know what the solution is, and you don't accidentally, because I have seen some where some people would play the game and accidentally find the two characters you're supposed to rescue. Okay, now we're taking damage. Which actually works out for us, so that's good. But yeah, the completion percentage on that was that was the lowest I remember. That one was really odd. And bear in mind, this is completion percentage, I believe, of people who have bought the game. I don't think it's completion percentage of just PlayStation users in general. It is just how many people own this game. Okay, so yeah, here's the shoe, and then the chain, which I missed last time because I didn't actually look around the area very well. Which was on a bench somewhere, right? Yeah, here it goes. It's a little out of the way. There we go. So yeah, and bear in mind, like, I have played some games where I do think they are padded out. Heck, I would argue Final Fantasy VII Remake has some padding that didn't need to be in the game. It's been a while since I've played it, so I unfortunately couldn't say what section specifically felt like padding. But there was some stuff that was like, oh, I think you could have maybe took like 1 or 2 hours out of this. I think maybe like 5 hours you could have took out, or turned into optional bits where it's like, oh yeah, you could have made this optional, and just if the player wanted to, they could have advanced. I keep forgetting I don't have a map. Oh, that's the wrong menu. No? There we go. Okay. Now I need to start this thing. In my off time, this is a weird, I don't know what motivated this, but a long time ago I got Assassin's Creed Syndicate on sale. I used to be really into Assassin's Creed, and then once the series got like annualized and was coming out way too often, and the entries started to get really weak and not much changed, that's when I dropped off. It was like I was really enjoying it up until Brotherhood, and then I heard about how bad 3 was. Oh, even before that there was Revelations, and Revelations straight up was just like, why this game didn't need to be made. It barely changes anything. The like new quote unquote gimmick that they added, that doesn't really feel like anything different. Just having a quick look around here before yeah, there's nothing around here. Just pits to fall down. Could imagine if you came in here and Douglas just saw you run off a ledge. Yeah, is it this way? No, it's the weird bodies. Oh, we got to get on this thing, haven't we? I think that's where we go. Where do we go? Oh, I always get confused because they move you. It's one of these, isn't it? Let me see, is this the right one? Yeah, there we go. I think that happened last time where I got the doors mixed up. Okay, got the doll's head and pool. That's good. We'll save though. But yeah, so I've been playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Someone brought me a copy of Assassin's Creed Unity. I ended up playing it way after they'd actually fixed all the really crazy looking bugs. Oh yeah, I wanted to try something with this. Okay, I'm gonna try this time. Because you pick that up, but there's nothing to do with it. So I'm really curious if you can...
What is it?
I just came
I
to make
think
sure
this
you
is
were
the
still
same.
alive.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the same. Wonder why they'd let you pick it up, though. I can't use it on him, right? Nah, okay. That's weird, because the text specifically says, like, oh, I should give it back to him. So I thought I'd miss something where you could give it back to him, but you can't give it back to him. Okay, let's see if this is any different. No, those are the same. I mean, fair enough. There's not... I don't know what you could really change to this, aside from just removing it. And this way. But, yeah, and Assassin's Creed Unity was just a really mediocre game when I played it. That was my main opinion. And it was weird. They'd like taken out most of the advancement and improvements that the game had made and fed it into that co-op thing. I don't think I ended up ever doing anything co-op because it was all optional anyway. I think I ended up, if I ever had co-op stuff go on, it was just with AI. Because, you know, I played it years later, so I don't think anyone was ever playing it. But it never really felt like a game that was built for it either. And it was just like, it felt like I had played like all the recent like Assassin's Creeds and then had gone back to playing Assassin's Creed 1. That's kind of how playing Unity felt. Like, it didn't feel like Assassin's Creed 1 per se, but it did feel like, hey, the series did all this stuff and now we're back. And then Assassin's Creed Rogue, I didn't even bother with the weird like last gen exclusive game they made. Now I'd be curious if that was one of those games where now, because it's a weird game, it would end up being worth more, because who even would have thought that? Whoa! But I've been playing a Syndicate. When I started it, I remember not being that hot on it, where I was like, oh, this is clearly a better game, but like, oh, it's not really doing anything special. And I still don't think it's doing that much special, but I am enjoying it more now. But that game also has a lot of padding and like, oh hey, we've put all these activities that are all very samey and you have to keep doing them to upgrade because you need to upgrade to be able to do these levels, because that's how you level up. So you need to keep getting experience and gaining resources and money so you can buy new equipment and level up, because there's a level. I don't think they lock you out, but if you're not going for the upgrades, then you would, you know, you need the better stats, just like straight up. Right, here we go. And it's definitely a game that I'm playing it and it's like, man, if this game, like, it doesn't need as much side activity and collectibles, and there's so many. in that game. So I do agree that some games definitely aim towards like that they still think it's a selling point, because definitely back in the day, especially it kind of changed, because first, like when you first started, games weren't that long, even into like Nintendo and in some cases Super Nintendo era as well, especially because a lot of the time a lot of them would be adaptations or attempted ports of arcade games. And then once it got to the PlayStation, and especially, you know, how much Final Fantasy 7 blew up, then it became a selling point of like, hey, you can fit all this data in, it's more bang for your buck if you sell a game, and then you spend, you know, like dozens of hours playing it. And in some cases that was done by, oh, we're putting all this content in the game, even if it's, oh, apparently I've messed up. Oh no, we did this right. And it, went too far the other end. And, you know, a lot of people did think that way for a long time of, yes, the games need to be this length. That's really funny. She can block the submachine gun. That caught me off guard. I did not think she was going to do that. Yeah, she can block. Okay, yeah, this is going to go really quick. Okay, let's just do a run around. Yoo-hoo, where are you? There we go. 1 second. Okay, now she's got the submachine gun. Ho ho ho. Oh, there she is. Oh, she got me. Take that. Oh wow, she has more health here than I realised. There we go. And you do see it sometimes still, where people will say, hey, if I'm... I think there was a really bad post once where someone was saying like, hey, if I pay $60 for a video game, it has to be 60 hours long. And like if it's $10, then it has to be this long. And that was a really weird post, because it's like, well, that's not how it works at all. It's never worked that way. And that's also most games that are a certain... I feel like most... a lot of games you can point to that are that much, and it's like they're not even close to that price. You know, you buy a lot of games that have first-person shooter campaigns, and they're only like 12 hours-ish or less than that sometimes, so... But yeah, some people do still seem to be of that mentality that a game price and like length should match in some way. I do think that there's some argument for like, hey, if a game's too short and you're charging a certain price for it, that's a problem. But you know, it goes the other way as well, where, you know, like you can make a game too long and then you're just not having fun anymore. And I'm enjoying Syndicate, but it definitely has a bit too much of like just fill out the map and do all this stuff, and it's like it's not that fun. I realised I think my silencer got unequipped somehow at some point. Okay, I'm really curious how the tarot thing's gonna be different. It's probably just gonna be it'll just say where to put them, I'm guessing. But we'll see. Right, for the map for this area, I've got to find those pieces of paper, which I believe are just right through here. Yep. There we go. Okay, so we do have to do this. If I still don't know if we will get the possessed ending, because I've had to kind of just win it. We do have to do this though, apparently. Apparently, if you don't do that, or if you just want to check if we can go back in. No. Okay. Which I think that maybe leads more to like it is the cult's power that takes over Heather. If you were to consider what does the rebirth ending mean. Okay, so this door, yep, that's locked. Just wanted to double check. So it's marked on my map now. The I don't know why it does this sometimes. The Twitch stats tab on my OBS doesn't always update in real time. I don't know if it's something where, oh, it will only update if there's a change. But it is odd. Okay, can't read those. Oh well. Who knows? But I think what it might be is it has to change. So if the viewer count changes, or the clip count changes, or the view changes, or follows change, then it does. But for example, because I've not had any issues of the follower count, that like the Twitch activity feed. It's the stats one I'm specifically meaning. Okay, well that's the cassette, but that's optional, isn't it? That's just the yeah. Might as well. I'm just curious how many handgun bullets this game lets you pick up. Let's see, how many have we got? 240. So reportedly, probably because I haven't actually used the guns at all, I'm still finding ammo, but I'm not finding as much as you, in theory, would find if you had been shooting. Okay, that's good. I'm trying to guess how long it's going to take us to finish this. I'm really not sure. Like half an hour to an hour? Somewhere between there. Okay, that's just a save point, I'm pretty sure. Right. Oh, I missed the door, I think. Oh, I remember. Oh, that's what I missed last time. I didn't see the footprints going there. I don't know how I missed that. I kept running in and out of this room and not seeing those footsteps. I don't know how I missed that. I felt dumb. I felt really dumb. Okay, so... Okay, this is just a straight one. So now that I've changed the bitrate, how does it look? Though it's kind of funny because I set it to 3000, but sometimes it will go above 3000 randomly. It's a bit inconsistent, but it'll sometimes go above. I think as well with this game's noise filter and how like noise that kind of affects the look with bitrate, that might be making it a bit blocky as well. Something you have to watch out for. Well, I'm at 720p, which is a higher resolution than this game runs at, so I don't see how that would help. We are in HD. That's 720p is HD. The new one shouldn't be. It might take a while because sometimes when you upload it takes longer to process. I'll double check that, but I remember seeing that they were. That's the thing, I do remember. You'll have to double check. I think what it might be is when you've checked them, they haven't processed the. Oh. Keep forgetting that's a thing you have to worry about in this game. Alright. Okay, so what doors have we got here? Let me check. Oh. I think it's linear? Yeah. Blend might look okay. So yeah, linear is what we used last time. I could swap it to blend. I think with certain games, blend doesn't look great. Because you do get that ghosting look. But there you go, there's blend on now, so you can have a look and see what you think. Obviously, from what I can tell, the ×2 ones also will look better on some things. We'll have to see. Definitely when we streamed Half-Life 2. Sorry, Half-Life 1 on PlayStation 2. Oh, this is a tough one, apparently. Or something else is up, because this guy is not dying. Okay, something's messed up here. Maybe that guy just can't die? Fair enough. We'll leave you to it then, dude. Either he's extra special, he'll kill this guy though. Or maybe because he was... No, I guess he's just invincible. Fair enough. He's a tough one. That's weird. Maybe it's not that weird, but still, I really wasn't expecting it. Okay. We've got a few more doors to check that way, but let's just finish checking this way first. But yeah, if you when we yeah, I'm looking at the preview. It looks okay. But with Half-Life, blends looked really rough. For sure. Hang on, I'm just turning my preview off because I don't need it. Well, I'm trying to, there we go. Because yeah, it created that ghosting effect, but I guess because this is a slower paced game, you just don't really see it happening. The camera movement's slower, and just the look of the game overall, it doesn't... Oh yeah, here we go. Gotta wait for this again. Alright, what's down here? Aha, okay. So, what's in the book? Okay, so that's the thing about Glophicus. And there's the card. There's the bed, there's the picture. Is there anything else in this room? There is. I think I can pick this up and pull. Well, obviously with the infinite ammo, we should be good. But... Oh yeah. Sneaky. Oh, he got up again. Remember, we're still on a normal combat difficulty because I wanted... Yep. I was just curious if I could hit that guy with the bullets or not. You know, I wanted the most amount of enemies, and to try and get this possessed ending, you know, I wanted to make sure I took enough damage. Good. Yep, deflate. There you go. If you didn't notice, those big fat enemies, they deflate when they're dead. Oh hey. Well, this is good because this is a... I keep forgetting to comment on how they vary these enemies up, where they start getting the really crazy looking textures, including the moving textures. But it's cool. I think there's a little bit of that in Silent Hill 2 as well, though. I think there's like some of the nurses look different. Okay, so we're going... Yeah, we're checking these two doors. Okay, checking this one door. We've still got a few doors to check. Okay, yeah, this is the final room. Let's see what this says. Huh? Oh, it just has pictures of where they go. Fair enough. That's cool. It's weird. It's like it's simpler as a puzzle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got 3 of 5. Oh, I shouldn't have skipped that because that was really interesting. For some reason, she always drew monsters like this when she was alone. But she talks about how she wanted a happy family, but that's not what she got, kind of thing. Okay, so there was a key to get there. We'll do a safety save just to be sure. Yeah, I'm starting to think the Twitch stats must only update when stuff happens. So that's why it just... Again, it's minor because it just means the time is the same, but then I can just look at my live time in OBS and see how long I've been live, so that's not an issue. Oh. This is a... yeah, broken lock. Okay. So I'm going that way. I think that door doesn't open, but I'm just going to check it just to be sure. Yeah. Okay. Do you actually die this time? No. Well, that's still interesting to me. Because there's very rarely, if ever, enemies in Silent Hill games that don't have a health bar. Like the only time that really happens is, I guess you could say technically the first time you see Pyramid Head, but he takes a certain amount of damage and then leaves, so even then he still has a somewhat health bar. But I guess when he's in the corridor with you and Maria is the only time he actually can't be killed, because no matter how much you attack him, he just doesn't do anything about it. He just stops moving for a bit. Oh, there it is. There's the handman. Bullets. Still think it's funny that even if you've like never used the guns, they'll still give you some ammo, even though they'll give you less or more. Alright, this is a... yeah, it's a... yep, extra diary. Alright, where else do I need to check? It's just, yeah, that locked door right at the start. That's where the final card is. Oh! That was not a good camera angle for that. Normally that's not too much of an issue, but that was pretty bad. Let's go down really quickly though. Okay, so yeah, we're all good there. It's a bit weird sometimes when I try and... I guess I'm doing it too quick because I'm trying to skip cutscenes and it just pauses instead and then unpauses and skips. I definitely think we're going to be okay for getting the possessed ending, but in terms of the UFO ending, I'm really unsure on that. I think if I don't have the kills for the UFO ending, then what I'm probably just going to do is either... I can't remember if I have the stuff. If I have the stuff for it, I would either just pull a save file that would have everything unlocked, so I could just then I could just do the run through there. Though I'd have to be careful because I would need a specifically PAL save file. And that might, I don't know if that's going to be a bit harder to find or not. Oh hey, I think because I killed those guys, the room got slightly less crazy. That's interesting. Like the effect dissipated. Though it's this room's getting messed up still. Okay, there's the guy in the vents. What's in here? Oh yeah, this is the fun stuff happening now. Again, a bit of a Silent Hill 1 reference. Trying to remember if there's a if there was a card in there, but must not be. Just take care of this guy. But yeah, I'll have to either find the save, and I don't know if I still have it. I did have something at some point that let you load saves on and off PlayStation memory cards. I can't remember if it was for PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, or both. Hopefully both. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. So I'm guessing one of these rooms. Just gotta make sure they stay down. Yep, I think that's them. Because I think this is just a combat room, isn't it? Yeah. Well, again, that's good for our purposes. So it's just that final room we gotta go in now. But yeah, if I don't have that that save thing, or the one I have is only for PlayStation 1 memory cards, I can't find a save, and I still don't have the requirements, then I'll just have to do it off stream and see if someone has a good recommendation for, like, the only reason would be if it's something, I guess I could still do a hard playthrough, but if I would probably wait. I'm not sure I could do another playthrough and have stuff to say. So if that's what I have to end up doing, sad to say, I might wait a long time until I come back to this game to get all the endings. Oh. For some reason I didn't realise what was happening there. Okay. Alright, well, this is it, right? I'm just, okay, gotta do my path. Yeah. I'm probably gonna forget it. Okay. I was trying to figure out if there was new enemies in there or not. Actually, no, if there's extra enemies, then that's know, an opportunity to try and get some more kills for this ending. Okay, so right. Right again. But yeah, this is it for this playthrough. Not too bad, just over 2 hours. Definitely not a speed run time. I kind of need to check those times again because they seemed kind of unbelievable even on console. Oh yeah, even that area's getting more mixed up. That's weird. So you can skip that cutscene, but you have to like pause and unpause. It's a weird kind of bug. Okay, so and I wonder if that enemy that won't die is still here. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Well, we know we can't kill you, so see you later, bud. But yeah, as fun as a weapon this is to use, and a bit different because you do have to actually aim up and down. It is just so weird playing this game. Not even the ammo, just the fact that the gun stun locks almost all the enemies. And that's it. Okay, so I've got to pay attention here. Got to use my memory for once. So we got the Handman, the Priestess, the Eye, the Moon, and the Traveler or Wanderer or whatever. So let's see. Handman, Priestess, Eye, Moon. And that. I can always go back to it. Maybe we'll see. Okay, so Eye's there. Moon's there. Priestess was there. Handman's there. Makes sense. Journey. There we go. There we go. It's kind of weird because it's a bit more cute having them be drawn out and be in the sketchbook instead of a poem. But obviously the poem, you know, with the pictures, there's not much challenge to it, you know. Yeah, camera. Fan. I was kind of wondering, I was like, it's weird there's an extra little corridor there, but I forget how unsettling that corridor is, just the sound gets so weird there in the cameras as well, where you can't tell like if that corridor's going to be a threat or not. Okay, so skip that. Use. Skip this. Go in here. Okay, so I'm going to be careful when we kill the final boss. I'm not going to skip that cutscene because I don't know if that cutscene's different or not, or if that skips the end as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna. Okay, so I do need to move a little bit, and I actually do need to heal. So I still have to be a little cautious. So you know what, I am gonna just put the body armor on, just for safety's sake. Because I think there's a finite amount of hits she takes. It's a bit weird, you have to aim up a little bit to hit her there. I found like the foolproof way of avoiding that attack is you just do a little circle. Doesn't track. Oh. I mean, that's fine. We've got plenty of healing items. We shouldn't have to worry. We don't really have to worry about range either. And that's a good sign, because that means she's gone through the fight a bit. But the circle strat, okay, it doesn't work perfect, but okay. Oh, she smacked me. Let me see. Yeah, just not much going on here. I'm kind of wondering if, like, because there's a set amount of damage you can do when her head comes down, if this is actually the part, if I'm accidentally taking a slower route. Or if there's, like, I should be using a certain melee weapon, or still using the shotgun. I was a bit unsure what my health was there, so just used the... I mean, it's fine, we've got so much. Yeah. Yeah, I think that it would be quicker to... Okay, I might swap to something next time. Oh. Let me try. Maybe not. Might just be wasting time. Doing the swap as well. Okay, so she can attack you before coming down. That's one thing I didn't know if she could do or not. This is taking longer than I thought it would. There we go. Oh! There was probably a way better way of doing that. But it's fine. On the plus side, I think taking all that damage probably got us the possessed ending. Sure. So yeah, I'm curious if this little bit will be different or not, or if it'll just be the scene after this. It's kind of interesting because the original ending, in some ways, is a hint to this ending. Oh yeah, the noise effect gets really heavy here. I think that's why it's a weird option they let you turn it off. In 2, I can somewhat understand, though I think the visuals in that game look a bit more rough without it on. But because the noise effect in this game is different in different cutscenes, depending on the mood they want to represent, it's a weird that you can just like, yeah, I'll just turn it off and then see this scene without that effect on. Okay, yeah, this seems to be exactly the same as it was. Okay, yeah, so if we do have that ending, it's only different here. And I'm fairly certain we got possessed. But fingers crossed. Yeah, we did. There we go. So that's the only bit that's different. It's a shame part of because I grew up watching my sisters playing these games and I knew so much about them going in that I never really got like, you know, I know what all the endings look like, so I've never really got surprised by any of them, because I wonder what it would have been like if you were someone who just replayed this game on Extra New Game and got this completely by accident and you just like, what? Because you easily could, you know, like I think all you have to do is get a certain amount of kills, and on Extra New Game you've got the extra weapons, so it is kind of geared towards you getting that ending, especially if you decide to play on hard. Okay, well there you go, we did it. I'm gonna skip that because that's the same. Unlike Silent Hill 2, they don't give you alright. Okay, so we did kill a lot. Okay, we killed way more enemies than I thought we would. Look at that. I didn't realise how many enemies we fought. But that makes me think we don't have the requirement yet. Which is making me worried now that I think... Because I think on the first one... No, it's not that many. It's like 300 and something. And yeah, reduction for using extra. That's possessed. Yep, now we've got the beam saber. And that's how you get the princess heart, but we've already got that. All we can really do is start the game really quickly and just see if it's in our inventory or not. Let's see what our time was. 3:31. Okay, obviously you can do that way quicker. Apparently in-game time you can get to you can get to UFO ending in like 15 minutes. So I'm just gonna do this. Obviously we're not gonna save. I just really want to see if we got it or not. I mean, I could go find the beam saber, but there's a bit of it takes a bit to get there. So, and I showed all the costumes off last time, so okay. So we have the knife, no supplies, and all the costumes. Yeah, we definitely don't have it. No. Thought so. I think it's a really high number you need. Oh. Yeah, I believe it's... I read it was 333. It wouldn't be 4,000. Because, that was us killing almost every enemy I could find. I think the only enemy we skipped, obviously that guy who was invincible, and I didn't, you know, run around the town to try and get extra kills, which I don't think we would have got the requirements for doing that. Because I think I need a lot more. So yeah, what I'll have to do is either try and find a save file, and if I can't find a save file, or I don't have the thing I have doesn't work, then it might be a while. I don't know when. I'll have to pick this up and we'll do like hard. I guess we could do hard, but I'm trying to think how many enemies we would end up killing on hard. I mean, I think we'd still kill a lot. Yeah, but again, it has to be PAL specifically, and that's where you can run into issues where it's like, oh, it's PAL, but it's not PAL UK and other things. But, you know, I do want to do a hard playthrough one day, especially hard Riddle. But I just want to see how the game feels on hard combat as well. Because my opinion of Silent Hill 2 is that the regular game on normal action feels too easy if you've played a survival horror game before. It feels tuned for people who haven't played one before. But the bosses on normal feel mostly tuned okay. And then on hard mode, the enemies actually feel a lot more threatening. I'd say like on normal, most of the enemies don't feel like a threat, but on hard they actually get a lot of hits in. They're a lot harder to avoid. I bet even with the 2D controls, they'd be a lot harder to avoid. But we actually did okay. You know, they do okay. But then the bosses were broken. The bosses were not balanced at all. Especially that dual pyramid head fight. And the Maria corridor, we had to cheese those. That's the only way we could get through them. The Maria corridor, you'd have to have a ton of ammo for, because I don't think you could really do it with another melee weapon. Maybe you could do it with the pipe, doing the overhead attack. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of what other weapon you would have on a new game, but probably just the pipe, because there's barely any melee weapons in that game. And heck, I'd have to look it up and see if someone's got a strategy for like, oh, here's a good way of doing the pyramid head fight on hard, where you don't get hit and it doesn't take ages because the camera's not good in that scene. It's like one of the few times where the camera's really bad for a fight. So I'm curious if they got better. It's weird because I think Silent Hill 1 even is better balanced on normal, where it feels okay. And this game's weird. We hinted at it last time. I'll pick it just because it's while we're talking about it. It's this one here. So this outfit you get for beating Extreme X, and what Extreme X is after doing hard mode, there's difficulty levels above it, going from Extreme 1 all the way to Extreme 10, where I think every time you do a new Extreme it's slightly harder, which that's really curious to me. I'm trying to think what could be that different, because if hard mode is like, hey, you can go 10 levels above hard, I don't know what they do. Do they just get tougher and tougher with ammo, or do enemies get stronger and stronger? And you know what? I was curious about that. You can block without a weapon, but you can't attack without a weapon. I was curious about that. I was like, what would happen if I pressed that? Okay.